Assalamualaikum. My name is Yasin Adam Daniel bin Yusri. I am Form 4 from SMK Padang, Kemunting, and I'll be representing for the English category of Nilam with my book Halo Ghost of Onyx, written by Eric Nyland and published by Tom Doherty Book Associates in 2006. The book has 383 pages and is an action sci-fi. Before I continue with the book, however, I'd like to introduce myself in further detail. I am the oldest son of the family, with my sister being the oldest child. My hobbies are playing video games in my spare time, drawing occasionally, and reading books. Speaking of which, I had received this book when me and my family were returning from a vacation. This book is set in the future, where humanity has obtained spaceflight. This allowed us to colonize planets beyond Earth's reaches. This has resulted in planets divided into two groups: the inner colonies, controlled by the Earth government, and the outer colonies, controlled by the UNSC. However, as time would go on, the outer colonies would grow restless of the human government and would want their own independence. This would start the Human Insurrectionist War. The insurrectionists being a group of people who wish to fight the human government and declare independence. This war would cost multiple lives and thinning out humanity's military power. However, this war would inevitably end with a stalemate when humanity would first receive the contact of the Covenant through the destruction of a outer colony planet known as Reach. The Covenant are a group of alien races who believe in the Great Journey. The Great Journey is a process in which, through using the Forerunner technology and discovering their relics, the Forerunners, being an ancient now gone civilization, they would be able to achieve spiritual enlightenment. However, once they made contact with humanity, they would brand us as a disease and would start a crusade against us. This would mark the start of the Human Covenant War, costing the lives, countless human lives, and countless destruction of human planets. However, the military had a program that was capable of dealing with these covenants, known as the Spartan 2s. The Spartan 2 program was initially made to deal with the insurrectionists and was spearheaded by Dr. Catherine Halsey. Dr. Catherine Halsey had chosen several children from a select gene pool to be abducted and put into the program. The children were between the aged 5 and 7 to ensure maximum loyalty. After being abducted, the children will be replaced by clones. These clones would die after several weeks, so no suspicion will be held against them. The children were then transported to Reach, where they will be trained. Training will last for several years until they were 17 and would also carry out some missions, mainly all of which during the Human Insurrectionist War. Once they were 17, they would receive their augmentations. These augmentations would allow them to be much stronger, faster, and have better reflexes than the average soldier. However, as a side effect, some of them would either die or be so deformed that they would not be able to be active in the line of duty. Only half of the Spartan 2s were not affected by the side effects. Those not affected would officially become the Spartan 2s, the best that the military had to offer. The Spartan 2s, in their early years, would conduct their missions against insurrectionists, but with the start of the Covenant War, they would also fight alongside humanity. They also fight alongside the military to fight against the Covenant. This would prove to be quite significant, as they would be able to hold back the Covenant for a short majority of time. Each Spartan is placed in a fire team group. The fire team group is mainly consists of 4 to 5 Spartans. However, in the war, several fire team groups would be killed or be lost. But to most humans, they would be seen as heroes, and a Spartan 3 program was suggested by a secret branch of the military known as ONI. ONI had made the Spartan 3 program to be similar to the Spartan 2's. However, the selection would be much wider and they will be significantly weaker compared to the Spartan 2's. However, despite all of that, the program was initiated. Spartan 3 candidates were mostly orphaned children caused by the covenants. There were 300 initial slots for the Spartans, with 440 candidates. They'll be put through a rigorous training to see those that were fit to be a Spartan, and after that, they would train much more till several years and receive their augmentations. The augmentations were similar to the Spartan 2's but slightly weaker. However, most, if not all, of the Spartan 3's did not come with any of the side effects that the Spartan 2's had, meaning they were successful. However, to start the Spartan 3 program, they would enlist the help of a Spartan known as Kurt. Kurt was part of a fire team known as Blue Team, which consisted of himself, Linda, Holly, and Sam. To ensure his cooperation, they would cut him from his group by making a false mission, where they would be able to malfunction his suit, jettisoning him into space, thus making him a MIA, missing in action, as all Spartan 2's are not as killed in action, to give the illusion that Spartans never die. He would also be joined by Chief Petty Officer Mendez, who had also trained him and his fellow Spartan 2's. With this and support from the military, they would start the first batch of Spartan 3's known as Alpha Company. Alpha Company had 300 Spartan 3's and were composed again of orphans. All of them were willing to join to fight against the Covenant, and and Alpha Company, after the training, was sent on a secret mission known as Prometheus. Kurt was not known of this mission to keep it a complete secret. The mission was to disable a Covenant shipyard that was within UNSC space. If they had not done so, countless human lives would be lost and many more planets would be destroyed. The mission was seen as a success. However, all of the Spartan 3's of Alpha Company would be killed. Kurt would still be Kurt, however, would still lead progress of the Spartan 3's with the batch of new Spartans known as Beta Company. Beta Company was similar to Alpha Company, but instead had 330 Spartan 3's. They were led on a mission known as Foxtrot. Foxtrot would have them destroy a Covenant capital which housed a core. The mission was also seen as a success. However, all but 2 Spartan 3's were killed. Those surviving were Tom and Lucy. Tom and Lucy would stick by Kurt's side as they would make the next batch of Spartans. Simply that being Gamma Company. Gamma Company was moved to the planet Onyx, a planet secluded from UNSC space, where they would train. for several years and receive their augmentations. After receiving their augmentations, the Spartan 3s would then be put into fireteam groups. In this particular situation, 3's fireteam groups are held in a test known as top honors, where they would see who was the best among the best. It is unknown what the rest of Gamma Company were sent to help with the Human Covenant War. However, during the test, Team Gladius, Katana, and Saber would come into contact with a Sentinel. The Sentinels are constructs made by the Forerunners and would go active after the firing of the Halo installation. The Halo installation is a large installation which was made to combat against the Flood. The Flood are a parasitic group of aliens whose origins are unknown. The Halo rings work by destroying all calcium-based life in 25 light years. Calcium-based life being the Flood's main source of nourishment and reproduction. With the activation of the Halo array, the planet Onyx would become active, as it was secretly a forerunner shield worlds. Shield worlds were a type of world, planet, where forerunners, after activating the Halo rings, would retreat to keep themselves safe. However, the forerunners never enacted this plan, and why that happened was unknown. Returning towards the test, Team Saber, consisting of Damien, Olivia, and two others, would be forced into the center of planet Onyx. Kurt would oversee the test with Chief Petty Mendez and would also spring into action when the Sentinels attacked. Tom and Lucy would also be by their side to help find the other Spartan 3s. They would then run into Team Saber, with Team Katana heading into Zone 06, an area that is off limits towards personnel. However, they would also receive some help from other Spartan 2s who, by coincidence, would come to their rescue. However, the Covenant would also show up shortly after. And because of this, the Spartan 2s and Spartan 3s would head towards the center of Onyx to retrieve the Forerunner technology, or failing doing so, destroy it to prevent the Covenant from receiving it. Now that's the end of my summary. I would like to say that my summary was extremely brief and did not go too into detail of what happened. I believe that this book should be read on its own to experience, as I believe I cannot do any sort of poetic justice on it. However, there are other Halo books made by Eric Nyland, that being Halo First Strike and Halo Operation Harvest. I have not read these, but based on my experiences with this book, it's definitely something very interesting and I think would appeal to a lot of people. To conclude this, I would like to say thank you for lending me your time, and thank you.